really good question asked of Jonathan Taylor, and you're going to hear his answer about goals for this season. And the goal being a championship. I like hearing players say that. I don't like, I want to get 16 sacks. I want to get 4 interceptions. I don't want to hear about individual accolades. I want to be Pro Bowl. I don't want any of that stuff. I want to win. I want to win a championship. We hear that from Jonathan Taylor.
Number one, I think we just have to continue to build on our communication. Second year with everybody being together, so that's a big plus for us. It's an advantage for us, but we also have to make that an advantage for us. So we got to continue to work on our communication, making sure that when we see certain looks, kind of everybody's on that same page and not, hey, are we, we checking to this, we're checking to that. So I think we'll continue to build on that. But so far, we've been really building on it. So I'm excited where we're at this point.
How does facing Zaire and speed on some of those running plays kind of test what you and Anthony can do against two of the better linebackers in the league?
I think you mentioned that 2 of the better linebackers in the league. So just being able to play that chess match with them. It's not just a physical match with Zaire and speed, which I like. Because really in this league, you're going to come across some great linebackers where the physical talent is not going to matter. It's going to be all about the mental aspect.
How nice has it been having those reps with Anthony Richardson just thus far in camp, something you didn't get last year?
I think you just put the nail on the head. Just something that I didn't get last year. So anytime you can get continuous reps with your quarterback, it's always a big plus.
What are some of your thoughts about the rest of the running back group behind you?
Well, I think you guys saw that last year, the Pittsburgh game. I think you guys got a really good taste, and they've been able to continue to grow and get better this year. I'm just looking forward to them to continue to show that in front of the world.
Without live tackling, how are you guys measuring success in the run game behind the scenes?
I'm really just measuring how the blocks look, where are you positioned at. A lot of things in this game are all about angles and positioning. So at the end of the day, you can't, if you're not getting tackled, you can't really tell 100%, but you can get a pretty good gauge based on your position.
With last year's team coming back this year, what's the biggest difference you see in between last year's team and this year's team?
I just think it's that continuity. Everyone knowing, especially on the offense, kind of who they're going against on defense, but also the defense knowing who they're going against on offense. So it's actually tougher. It's a tougher camp because, like I said, you got to kind of play that chess match now. It's not just a new team. Usually every year it's a new team, new faces. It's a lot of the same faces this year, so it's definitely tougher.
Jason, what are you chasing at this point in your career individually and then as a team?
Number one, you just got to chase a championship. For me, I think that's for me personally, and I'm sure as a team everyone is. That's just something that I don't have on my resume yet. That I've seen a lot of people celebrate, and I've spoken to some people who, seeing the confetti fall, and it's a feeling that they can't describe. So I want that feeling too. I'm sure the rest of the team does.
You spoke about the rest of the running back room, what you saw from them last year and during camp so far. With Zach Moss now gone this year, are you expecting to have that increased workload that you kind of saw earlier in your career, or did you kind of like the split that you got to have last season? I'm
expecting to do whatever Shane asked me to do, because whatever it takes for us to win a championship, that's what I'm willing and able to do. Like I said, that's something that I haven't added to my resume yet, and I'm just going to try to do my part in order to make that happen and to make it a reality.
What about this team makes you think that you guys can win a championship?
Number one, I think it's just the advantage that we have with a lot of the same guys coming back on offense and defense. So a lot of times when you have a team that can come together, camp is where you kind of come together and you mesh. Well, when you have the same team that you had last year, you're really just building on the same bond that you guys built in the previous year. So I just think if we can use that to our advantage, I think something really special will happen this year.
Thanks, guys.
That's Jonathan Taylor, and there's no question this is a different version of Jonathan Taylor in this camp from last year. Difficult for Jonathan Taylor, difficult for the Colts and Jonathan Taylor, with Jonathan trying to figure out the contract situation, get his ankle right. He had the injury cost him a few games down the stretch. You got to have Jonathan Taylor healthy and carrying the ball a gob in 17 games. Can't have him miss games. You don't have Zach Moss. He's not walking through that door. And so Jonathan Taylor absolutely got to be available, got to be on the field, got to be rolling. And interesting to hear him talk about the chess match between he and Zaire Franklin. You're going to hear Zaire Franklin in a little bit kind of say something very, very similar about Jonathan.